Could be. I'll let you know if something changes. But we got 30 seconds.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell.
Bellroad Toyota is stocked up with over 300 new and pre-owned Toyotas, plus no markups above MSRP. Bellroad Toyota can't be beat. Great people, awesome finance.
And here we go.
Toyota's ready for delivery. Shop now at bellroadtoyota.com. That's bellroadtoyota.com.
Can't remember. What kind of theme do you want for the music today?
Dude, up to you, bro.
Take the
All right.
points. Powered by the Sportsbook at CNC Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona. Your home for uncensored sports betting opinions, analysis, and advice. The guys have you covered for all the games. Now, take the points on Fox Sports 910 and the Large Radio.
And you're live.
Good Saturday morning to you. Mike Gross, Jackson Groff. We're out at Casino, Arizona. Loop 101 in McKillop, sitting inside the CAZ Sportsbook, and it's an absolutely gorgeous day. Outside, even better day, Jackson. Inside, action-packed place. TV, all the seats in front of the TV are pretty full.
Yeah, it seems anytime we have either a big Ohio State game in the morning, Gross, big Michigan, Georgia game, the fans show out. We had Oklahoma fans here 2 weeks ago. Now we've got a bunch of Ohio State fans watching this Ohio State. That is true. It could be Penn State. I'm seeing some red, so I'm just assuming Ohio State there, Gross, but I'm not certain on it. But the score update for those out there that are driving around wondering what the score is between 3 Ohio State, 7 Penn State, 10-6 Ohio State at halftime. And I believe Ohio State starts out with the ball in the second half. Something to look out for there. But biggest key here, Gross, what I've seen, Marvin Harrison Jr., they cannot cover. Penn State's got to adjust in the second half.
Ohio State went off at a 4.5-point favorite in that one, Jackson. And points are at a premium, obviously. 10-6 at the half, as you said. The over-under to start this thing, 45.5. Ooh. So they are going to have to do some work if the over-bettors will be happy with this one.
Yeah, and it all starts with the quarterbacks. They've been kind of struggling here. Drew Aller from Penn State, 6 of 17, and Kyle McCord, 11 of 21. Just a slow start between the two. The biggest play of the game, Gross. Penn State had a 59-yard fumble return for a touchdown, but it got called back for a defensive holding on who else? On Marvin Harrison Jr. So they got to be able to cover him in the second half if they want to be able to win.
What'd you say? They can't cover Marvin
They
Harrison.
cannot guard Marvin Harrison Jr. It's Marvin Harrison Jr. versus the world over there for Penn State and Ohio State.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that one going forward. Not a lot of I hate to say it this way. I mean, if you're interested in the game, it's a good game. But not a lot of marquee games here in the early window on the second to last Saturday of October, if you can believe that. As November creeping up on us, Jackson. But some interesting games. Army and Navy, the first leg of the Commander-in-Chief trophy is up.
Air Force Navy. What
did I say?
You said Army Navy.
No, that's
Army
terrible,
plays
that's
LSU
the
today.
last. Army Navy is at the very end of the year. I've got the Commander-in-Chief trophy on the brain. Air Force and Navy playing the first of those 3 games. Air Force ranked number 25 in the country. They're undefeated. And they're one of those teams coming out of the Mountain West Conference where you kind of get a little bit of attention. It's not like Conference USA or one of the, I hate to say it, but lower FCS conferences. Mountain West is right on the cusp, and there's a brand in Air Force football. People understand that. They know Air Force football. I don't know that they get into the conversation, but they're undefeated, and they're an interesting team right now playing without their starting quarterback.
Yeah, they're ranked 22nd actually in the country, Gross. 22nd, not 25th there. Got to correct you once again, but it's all good. It's early. It's early in the morning. But, yeah, they had the longest ever passing completion in school history, completion touchdown, 94 yards. And for those out there that are big college football fans, a 94-yard passing touchdown is insane. So looking at their schedule, after this game, they go at Colorado State, which will be a tough game. And later on, they've got obviously Army, then they've got at Boise State to round it out. But it's either between them, Gross, or it's going to be Tulane for that group of 6. And group of 5 that could come to the Fiesta Bowl is what people are projecting. So we could maybe even see a Tulane Air Force versus a Washington if they don't make the playoff, and Oregon to Texas coming down here the stretch. But speaking of Big 12, Gross, 6 Oklahoma tied against UCF right now. 13 minutes left in the third quarter, 17 all. What was the spread on that one? UCF Oklahoma tie game.
UCF Oklahoma at home, 17.5-point favorites, Jackson, with the point total at 67.5. UCF coming in, and there's a lot of Oklahoma. There were a lot of Oklahoma fans in here shaking their head at that score, 17-17, as you said, early on in the third quarter.
100%. And that could be them off of a bye week, coming off of that Texas win, maybe, sleeping against a team like UCF. Dylan Gabriel actually just threw an interception against his old team, UCF. The Dylan Gabriel Bowl is what they're calling this one.
Absolutely. Hey, coming up on the show later on, we've got Justin Spears from ESPN Tucson, and he's going to talk to us about the Arizona Wildcats who are on a bye. Obviously, you and I have spent a lot of time going back and forth about the Wildcats and what's their
over 3.5. Ugh.
You were all over that as the season unfolded, but a big I would say a statement win for the Arizona Wildcats last Saturday at Washington State. Nationally ranked Washington State team. They went up, and they didn't just escape with a win. They didn't do some last-minute miracle to come away. They thoroughly, on both sides of the football, beat the Washington State Cougars to send a message. And we talked about it on the show last week. Teddy Bruschi, one of the more famous Arizona Wildcats alum, great NFL career, now doing national TV. He was in Tucson for an event around the bowl game, the bowl game they host every year. And he was asked about the Arizona Wildcats football team. He said, it's great. The direction is great. We love to see all the excitement around it. But sooner or later, you're going to have to finish games, right? And what have they done this year? They played great. They went to overtime against Mississippi State on the road. They took USC to overtime. But they didn't finish these games. And they never left it in doubt Saturday afternoon into the evening hours in Pullman, Washington.
I'm excited to talk to Justin about Noah Fafita as well. I mean, that was a shocker. When we saw Jaden DeLorga get hurt, we thought this team would slow down, sit back, maybe, not call as many aggressive plays as they would with DeLorga in the offense. That wasn't the case. Fish is more comfortable with Fafita, takes care of the football. And, his first three starts, Washington, close game. USC, overtime, like you mentioned, and then Washington State. Well, I'm also interested to see about this defense. 6 points against Wazoo. We'll see how they bounce back today against Oregon. That was impressive.
They're on bye this week, Oregon coming up.
Yeah, sorry, Washington. I meant Washington State.
Oh, Washington.
Washington State against
Washington
Oregon.
State. All kinds of questions if you're the Cougars. We'll talk to Justin Spears. Is there a controversy there? Quarterback controversy? What do you
think Fafita's got the job. I think it's got to be Fafita. You got to rock the hot hand there. But
I don't disagree with you, but you've got
maybe go dual quarterback. But
I hate dual quarterbacks.
Yeah,
I do not like that.
Yeah, I think it's a different mindset too. Heading into the week when you're splitting reps versus being the guy in the system. And I think it's gonna be tough for play callers to kind of substitute two quarterbacks. We've seen that. Remember Michigan last year with McNamara and McCarthy. We thought Ohio State was going to do it this year. And then Oklahoma State, they had three quarterbacks, and they decided to go with one, and now their season's turned around. So I agree with you. I don't think two is the way to go.
We'll talk to Justin Spears right about 12:15 this afternoon. Then at 11:30 for his weekly visit, it's our friend Marco D'Angelo from WagerTalk.com. He'll join us. He'll break down a couple of games, but the other thing that we know and we love about our time with Marco is, in addition to all that, he breaks down some crazy knowledge, like the facts that he brings. Like, where did you get these? You said you're going to send him a resume. You want to be a researcher on his staff up there at Wager Talk and just help. I mean, it's crazy how much that Marco shares with us every week. Hey, look, we talk about football, but it's NBA season getting ready to start.
Yeah. Charles Barkley just walked by earlier too. We had him walk by. He didn't say hi to us today, which
he said hi last time.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we upset him, or maybe he was just waiting for power. I don't know. But anyways, they've got Major League Baseball. They've got the NBA starting, NHL. All the sports covered by WagerTalk.com. Marco joins us coming up in about 20 minutes right here on the station. And in just a minute or two, we'll get our national champion, Ryan Sirk. He'll jump in and give us and I got to correct myself. Last week I said the EPL pick of the week. Now, EPL was on some sort of international break. Of course. How did I not know that? So we'll get a pick. It'll be soccer. Maybe it's EPL. Maybe it's MLS. Ryan Sirk will be here in just a minute with his pick of the week. So lots to get to on the show. And at the end, you and I, along with our good friend Casey from the Sportsbook, will make our picks at the very end of the show.
We haven't even mentioned, too, obviously the Diamondbacks. We got to talk about last night's game and today being Game 5. And then, Kyler Murray and Budda Baker are practicing this week. What impact does that have on this weekend? Will Budda Baker play, and when do we expect Kyler Murray? We're going to talk about that, too, during the show.
You know what? Going back to baseball, obviously huge win for the Diamondbacks. They even that series up at 2. They've got Game 3 of the 7-game best of 7 series this afternoon around about 5 o'clock from the stadium downtown. And then it heads back to Philadelphia for at least a 6th game, potentially a 7th. Crazy finish in that one. And obviously we're focused on that because we're here in Arizona. We love the Diamondbacks. We're so happy to have our teams in the postseason. But the other thing, Jackson, is equally as bonkers, and maybe more so if you don't have a rooting interest in either game, was that Rangers-Astros game. The finish on that thing was insane. Insane for baseball. I mean, bench clearing brawls in the postseason. I don't know that they brawled, but they cleared the bench, and they were getting a little chippy. People getting ejected in a playoff game. It was wild.
I mean, if you're the pitcher of the Rangers, how do you give the opportunity of Jose Altuve to step up there and to hit that dinger to give him the lead? I mean, he had 2, I believe it was a walk or 2 before that he gave up, and then just Jose Altuve, what he does best when moments need him most, what does he do? He delivers Jose Altuve that 3-run home run to give him the lead. Now, is that game tonight, Gross, or is that tomorrow, Game 6?
Game 6 is this afternoon, and first pitch, Ryan Jackson. All day today. 5:07 p.m. For the Phillies and the Diamondbacks, according to the sheet here at Casino, Arizona. Can't wait.
Love it. Right now they have the Rangers as the underdog at Houston, and then the Arizona Diamondbacks are plus 116 money line tonight against the Phillies.
I like when they just have one game each day, right? They've got the Diamondbacks and the Phillies today, 5:07, and then 5:03 tomorrow. You've got the Rangers and the Astros. Like I said, both great series, amazing series. All right, that time of the week we send it back to the studio, and he's our national champion and doing a great job running the board for us, by the way. Ryan Sirk, your pick of the week. What do you got this week?
So I'm glad you didn't do the EPL pick of the week.
Man,
I am sticking
goodness.
with MLS.
All right.
Even though EPL is back, but it is decision day in the MLS. So it's the last games of the regular season. You win, you can go in. Really up in the air in both conferences. So I'm going to go with the Western Conference. San Jose Earthquakes control their own destiny. They need a win to make the playoffs. And they're playing against the bottom feeder, Austin FC, who have really nothing to play for. So I'm going San Jose Earthquakes money line at -150.
San Jose Earthquakes money line at -150 in their matches. When was that match? Today or tomorrow?
That is tonight at 6 p.m.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that. He's Ryan Sirk, our national champion. That's his. We'll rebrand this. Call it the soccer pick of the week because it's not all. That's my fault. I call it PPO. Good job, Ryan. We appreciate you, my man, and we look forward to that pick every week. We'll step aside here, take care of some business. We'll get more into college football the day ahead. We're just getting started. Jackson Croft, Mike Gross out here at the Sportsbook at Casino, Arizona. Bauer's got the day off today. He's on assignment. We're taking up to 1 o'clock today. We'll step aside right back on Fox Sports 910.
Take all clear. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAT Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona continues next on Fox Sports 910 and the free iHeartRadio app. The Cleveland Browns and their top-ranked defense head to Indianapolis to try to bottle up Jonathan Taylor and the Colts tomorrow at 9:30 on Fox Sports 910. Presented by HornCars.com. That's HORNE Cars.com.
Tune in Mondays from 1 to 4 as Rockin' Minute with Jimmy B broadcasts live from the CAC Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona. The Sportsbook at the CAC Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona is sports fans.
Go Air Force.
It's live every Monday from CAC Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona. Their goal is to make buying the next vehicle an experience that earns all their innovative web tools on whitetoyota.com. So if you're looking for a new or pre-owned Toyota, head to the interactive website at whitetoyota.com. The right price, the right selection, all at whitetoyota.com.
Got the urge to pick games each week?
How about those Falcons?
Even Mondays? Then sign up now for the Twin Peaks Fan Pickup, courtesy of Blue Moon and Coors Light. It's totally free to play. Head to fanpick'em.com. That's fanpick'em.com.
Hey, this is Kelly Cooper. Are you ready for the ultimate sports experience? Look no further than BKD's Backyard Joint. At BKD for the destination.
So, Gross, you do stuff with Friday Night Football, right?
Located at the corner of Pecos and McQueen and Chandler, BKD's backyard joint where every day is game.
Arizona's largest.
So I was doing the play-by-play broadcast for the Eastmart game. I don't know if you saw, but there was like a fight between players on the sideline. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Over to allcitytowing.com/careers for more information.
No, teammates. So like I saw it all unfold. Like they were getting ready to call a play, and then the PA announcer's like, "No, call a timeout. The officials need to call a timeout." And so the player, it was one player that wasn't dressed, who was like talking trash to the other guy. So the other guy put his helmet on and just sucker punched him in the face. It was ridiculous.
Give you the defense you need. One phone call away.
How's the golf game? Need help with that putter? Win free golf membership or putter fitting from Putting World in Scottsdale. Just text
Oh, I haven't put a song.
5. That's PUT to 59925. Standard message and data rates apply. That's PUT to 59925.
The pandemic is over, but COVID-19 is here to stay. In fact, it's still among the top 5 leading causes of death in the U.S., just after heart disease and cancer. So this fall, stay up to date with the latest COVID-19 vaccines, just like we do with the flu, because you've got no time for 19. The vaccine may not be for everyone. Please consult with your doctor. Brought to you by Moderna.
Klein tools are new at Lowe's, pros. Lowe's knows you want top brand and quality products. The Klein tools are limited. Right now, get the Klein 3-piece Modbox molded workstation, $319.94. And the Klein 5-piece cushion grip screwdriver set, $34.97. Lowe's exclusively at Lowe's. Shop the largest selection of Klein tools, the highest quality tool brands. Lowe's. Because Lowe's knows tools.
Here we go.
Knows Lowe's.
Back to Take the Points. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAC Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona. Exclusively on Fox Sports 9.
And you're live.
Hey, don't forget the Monday night tailgate here at the CAZ Sportsbook, Casino, Arizona. 23rd year. Rock Minuch and the guys have been out. Your chance to win cash just for watching football Monday night kickoff jackpot.
I believe it's at 1,250 ducats.
That's a lot of dunkets.
Ducats, yeah.
But
we have not seen a kickoff return past the 50-yard line yet, but maybe this week with the Vikings and 49ers, Ray McLeod for the Niners, we'll see one.
Vikings and the 49ers, and one of the cool things they do here at the Sportsbook is a food special geared towards the teams. I think this would be the Vikings, but I'm not sure. Maybe it's the 49ers.
It's at the Vikings,
Pulled pork barbecue burger, half-pound burger patty topped with barbecue pulled pork on a toasted brioche bun with a side of waffle fries, Jackson. And if winning cash isn't enough, you can get that special. They got great drink specials. And again, kickoff challenge squares, football bingo. Your chance to win cash just for watching football. Get here. Doors open at 4. And all you have to do in order to be eligible to win is be a member of the Players Reward Club. And that's free to join. Monday Night Football here at the CAZ Sportsbook with Rocco Minuch. It's the Vikings and the 49ers this week. All right, we should look, our first look, at the full scoreboard. Games coming up later on that we're keeping an eye on, Jackson, as this college football weekend unfolds.
Yeah, Washington State at 9 Oregon. And Washington State, undefeated. They lost 2 of their last games. They lost to Oregon State. They lost to UCLA at UCLA. Then they lost to Arizona at home. Can they bounce back against an angry, very frustrated Oregon team that is looking for some revenge, looking to score a lot of points? Right now, 9 Oregon is favored by 19.5 points. The over-under sits at 60.5. But the biggest thing on this, Gross, I'm looking forward to, can Cam Ward and this Washington State team bounce back? Offensively, they've looked very rusty. And then Oregon side, Bo Nix, no interceptions. He did not lose in the football game last week. Dan Lanning did. How will he coach against a Washington State
We're
team?
seeing a trend with that, with coaches letting their teams down with, going back to that Miami
being
Georgia
aggressive,
Tech game.
analytics.
Yeah, not making good decisions that literally cost their teams games. Also in the Pac-12 this evening, it's not in the 12:30 window, but since we're on the Pac-12, USC is hosting Utah. And the big question there is, you talk about bounce back. Hugely disappointing week last week for the Trojans. They lose in South Bend. And I've been saying it all year. I was not a proponent, or I didn't think that USC would be the representative of the Pac-12 if they get into the college football playoffs because of their defense. Well, their defense didn't let them down last week. I mean, sure, Notre Dame scored 48 points, but that wasn't on the defense. But you lose 48-20. You only scored 20 points with that offense. That's got to be disappointing, and I believe it's going to have to impact them this afternoon when Utah comes to calling.
Yeah, and the USC offensive line struggled last week, allowing 6 sacks against Notre Dame. And they've got a tough test with Utah. They got a really good defensive line led with Jonah Ellis there. But for Utah, it's been kind of a weird season for them. They're 5-1. We expected Cam Rising. It came out early this morning by Pete Thamel that Cam Rising is going to medical redshirt this year and sit out the rest of the year, which is smart. Get healthy, get right. Bryson Barnes is going to start, but their offense isn't going to be as effective as if they had Rising. So I see the 52 points that are over under gross. I'm kind of puzzled on where to go here. I kind of thinking lean under because of this Utah defense, but I also do you expect Caleb Williams to bounce back and light up this Utah defense?
I honestly don't know. 'Cause as I said, there's comments coming out about how disappointed they were when you play for USC. You expect to play for championships. And I don't know that this completely eliminates USC, but a lot of stuff's got to happen around them. It's not win out and you're in for USC, I don't think. And I still have my questions that I had about USC, I still have. Like, how's that defense going to stop Washington or Oregon? So I would worry if I was a USC fan right now about just some of the messaging that's coming out of that team.
7 points USC's favored by. I'm excited to talk to Marco, our next segment, about that. The spread seems a little high there for USC after what happened last week against Notre Dame. Gross.
Agreed. Bouncing, and that was my bad. I just got excited.
No, you're good. We got to talk Pac-12.
Yeah, but bouncing back to the 12:30 window on NBC coming up, Iowa and Minnesota. And Iowa's ranked number 24 in all the land. But this game is getting attention for one big number, Jackson. The number is 31. 31 is the over-under for the Iowa Hawkeyes and the Minnesota Golden Gophers. 31, Jackson. There's usually a guy sitting in the sports book with an Iowa shirt and Iowa hat on. I haven't seen him this week. 31. That's so low.
Yeah, so Iowa, their offense obviously has been struggling. They've been leaning on their defense and their punter, who Pat McAfee said should be a Heisman candidate because he's been pinning offenses deep inside the 3-yard line for their Iowa defense, putting them in good position there. But they lost their 2 starting tight ends out for the season. Their leading weapon right now, 83 yards receiving this season. So I expect them to run the football against a Minnesota team. We don't know what Minnesota is going to do on the offensive side of the ball. But, hey, this Big Ten West gross is very brutal. 31 is the over-under there. And it's weird to say because Iowa can't score any points. But, I mean, I think they're going to be the representative out of the Big Ten West. I thought Wisconsin would be. Mordecai's out for the season. They lost a running back as well. But for Wisconsin, you got to hope that Iowa loses 2 Big Ten games. Looking at their schedule, they've got Minnesota, Northwestern, Rutgers, Illinois, and Nebraska. Illinois, maybe they lose, but other than that, they should roll the table against Minnesota today. What do you think, Gross, about this Iowa Hawkeye team? Which you were right before the season. I thought that they're going to be way better offensively. You called out the offensive coordinator there for Iowa. He's been bad.
He's been bad, and it's in his contract. If you don't score 25 points a game, you get fired, inclusive of your bowl game, and they're in the low 20s right now. So it's a bad offensive look. The only thing that saves this team in the Big Ten West and the weak non-conference schedule that Iowa played this year is that defense. It's an elite-level defense. I'll give them that. But it doesn't matter when you play Michigan or Ohio State or even Penn State in a Big Ten championship game. I just don't think it matters. So you can run the table. You look at who they've got left, but you saw what happened when they went to Happy Valley. They get boat raced 31-0. Yeah. And I hate to say it because it's overused, but it wasn't that close, right? So, yeah, you can beat Minnesota. You can beat Northwestern. You can beat Illinois, Nebraska, whatever. If you do that, you will face Michigan, Ohio State, or Penn State in the Big Ten championship game, and you will be a double-digit underdog. And don't come at me with, stop disrespecting my Hawkeyes. It's ridiculous. And they got called out. They're like, why is this offensive coordinator back? Why is he back? And he's back because he's the head coach's son. And they thought they would make it better by putting a contract stipulation in on him about how many points he had to score. And it's not working.
And
So,
it doesn't help that they're starting quarterbacks out for the season, but even with him, they struggled offensively.
yeah, I mean, and you feel bad for him. You really do. And you mentioned at the beginning, when you have the platoon of, quarterbacks, and it wasn't working for him in Michigan. So McNamara transfers to Iowa, and he lands on his feet in a good spot. Happy for him. But it is what it is. They're averaging 20.9 points per game right now.
Ouch.
Crackle pop. We'll step
Ouch.
aside here, figure out what's happening in my ear. And on the other side, your favorite segment of the week, my favorite segment of the week, we checked in with Marco D'Angelo from WagerTalk.com.
Marco!
That's coming up next on Fox Sports 910.
I don't know what that was.
By the Sportsbook at CAG Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona continues next on Fox Sports 910 and the free iHeartRadio app.
Hey, this is Kelly Cooper. Are you ready for the ultimate sports experience? Look no further than BK's back.
Yeah. I just noticed that, but then like that topple and everything happened. It's still happening a little bit.
Wow, located at the corner of Pecos and McQueen and Chandler, BK's backyard joint where every day is game.
I did, but not the second time.
Big game with El Bandito Yankee, an ultra premium tequila made from 100% Blue Weber agave in the highlands of Jalisco. Their certified additive-free Blanco and Reposado featured a unique oxygenation process for a rich smoothness without that tequila burn. It's why they won platinum and gold medals and are now listed as one of the world's top tequilas by Rolling Stone. Head over to your local store, favorite bar, or restaurant in all 7 Barrio Clean locations. Go to elbanditoyankee.com and break out the Bandito, the official tequila of Guinea.
Tune in Mondays from 1 to 4 as Rockin' Manooch with Jimmy D broadcasts live from the CAC Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona. The Sportsbook at the CAC Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona is sports fan paradise. That's the guys, live every Monday from CAC Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona.
Sun Devil football returns to Mountain America Stadium to take on the Washington State Cougars Saturday, October 28th. For ASU's homecoming.
Gallagher with the catch, has the first down, stays on his feet, and he's going to go.
Get your ASU Washington State tickets today by calling 480-727-0000.
Touchdown Devils!
Go online to sundeviltickets.com.
The legend of Cameron Scannaboo continues to grow.
See your Valley Chevy dealers today during Chevy's truck season. Every truck has a story. Make yours a strong one. It's Chevy truck season. See your Valley Chevy dealers today.
I'm attorney Kevin Rowe. Are you been charged with a crime you didn't commit? That's more than you think. When your liberty is on the line, you need an experienced attorney that will aggressively fight for you. Lerner Rowe Law Group handles DUI and all other criminal charges. And with our affordable payment plans, it's easier.
We've got Marco locked in.
If the police made a mistake, call Lerner Rowe today. We're available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to take your call.
Need a new big screen for the football season? Twin Peaks, Blue Moon, and Coors Light has your chance right now. Text Peaks to 59925. Standard message and data rates apply.
Pretty equal to you, Jackson.
When you buy Kroger Green products, you feel like you win.
1 minute.
That's because they offer proven quality at lower than low prices. In fact, we guarantee that you and your family will love how Kroger brand products work. Your money back. So next time you're shopping for the family,
Air Force making the playoffs.
I'll make you all feel like you're winning. Shop now, in store, or online.
I'm so disappointed because I don't think they'll be as good next year.
This is Cam Jordan, All-Pro defensive end with the New Orleans Saints. Join
That'd
me
be awesome.
on a new podcast, Off the Edge with Cam Jordan. There's pressure, he'll go down. And that is going to be Cam Jordan. They can't stop it. In episodes each week, I'll bring you a different perspective of the game through the lens of my 12-plus years in the NFL.
That would be good, yeah.
will also join me to help you become a smarter football fan.
Yeah, that's good.
The iHeartRadio app, or wherever you get your podcast.
Here we go.
Back to Take the Points, powered by the Sportsbook at CAC Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona.
Thank you. And we're back.
Regular listeners know what time it is. We head up to Las Vegas. Welcome to the show, regular contributor, friend of the program. It's Marco D'Angelo.
Marco!
WagerTalk.com.
Oh, man, that never
How we do? Are you live from the Sphere today? Where are you at, Marco?
No, I'm at home as I usually am.
He's locked in. It's work day for Marco. Hey, before we get to our college picks, big week there in Las Vegas. Well, I guess going back a little bit, but the hockey team kicks off their defense of the Stanley Cup. WNBA, I know you were all over that. Just a great sports town Las Vegas is turning into.
Well, we're turning into title town. We've got 3 championships in 2 seasons, so we'll see what happens. It's such a nice, incredible start to the season. Thus far, they're off to an undefeated start. Obviously, that will not continue.
No.
But it's always nice to get off to a good start.
Well, and then you've got the Raiders with their quarterback of the future, Brian Hoyer, starting tomorrow as well, Marco.
Stop.
Okay, that cracked us back to reality.
Right. He didn't say every sport's a champion.
Gotcha.
He just called out the win. Hey, Marco, let's jump into it. And a game that's kind of fascinating to me when we look at what's going on in the Pac-12. Disappointing loss for USC last weekend in South Bend. And the surprising part for me, and Jackson and I were talking about this, how their offense kind of let them down. I mean, you know their defense is shaky, if you're being kind. But you expect this offense to do better than they did. They're not protecting the quarterback. And that was supposed to be their hallmark. And so they get a home game today against the Utah team that also has their own issues. But it's a good defense. It's a solid team. And I've got question marks now about this USC team. Your thoughts, USC and Utah from the Coliseum today, Marco?
Well, obviously, last week the turnovers did USC did not have 5 turnovers in one game and not have any takeaways. If you're -5 in the turnover department, you're going to lose by 20 points the way they did. Granted, Notre Dame to that point was the toughest defense that USC has faced this year, but they're going to face another tough defense today. Utah, that's been their calling card, signature. And that's been the case for the last few years. If you go back to last year's game, USC played Utah twice. Now, in the first game, it was an epic battle. You remember that, the 43-42 game won by Utah in Utah. And as I said, Utah had that great defense last year as well. But Caleb Williams and company were able to put up 42 points. He flew for 381 yards in that game. However, when they had the rematch in the Pac-12 championship game here in Vegas, it was all Utah in that game. They dominated that game from start to finish in one going away 47-24. Disappointing loss last week for USC, but the message that has to be drilled into this team all week during practice was, our undefeated season's gone. Everything else is still in place. Your season goals were to win the Pac-12, get into the playoffs. If they run the table and get into the Pac-12 championship game and win that, they're going to have enough on their resume to get them in conversation for the national championship because in front of them, I'm not saying they can do it, but in front of them, they still control their own destiny. The Utah game today, but then the 3 big games at the end of the season for them. They've got Washington, Oregon, and UCLA to close out the season. This is the spot where I think USC bounces back tonight. Utah's defense will keep them in the game for a while, but once this game starts to get a little bit of separation, and I just don't see the Utah offense being able to trade points with this USC offense. We know that Utah's been without Cam Rising all year because of injury, and that's been a problem. I see USC pulling away in the second half, and we will go ahead and take them. And you guys love whenever I take a situation where I find a stat that supports it. We're going to go ahead and take this one. Excuse me, the stat in the next game. Sorry, guys. We're going to take USC 34-20. I'm going to go ahead and call for them to bounce back in a big way at home today.
He has USC bounce back, like he just said, over the Utes. Let's go to the NFL side of things. Not so hot start for the Arizona Cardinals, 1-5 this season, and no shocker here, Marco. They are not favored in yet another game against Seattle. They're an 8-point underdog, 44.5 is the over-under against the Seahawks, who I'm looking at their injury report right now, Marco, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Their starting center, their starting guard, and Metcalf are all questionable heading into tomorrow. Does that factor when you look at a game like this with the spread so big?
Yeah, absolutely. When you start to get cluster injuries at a specific point on the team, that's a big problem, especially when you've got a team that is not, doesn't have an overabundance of talent. We got to call it what it is. So it's not one of the teams in the NFL. The concern for me is the defense starts to break down, and that's because they're on the field for long periods of time. They have now given up 26 points or more in 4 of their last 5 games. To make matters worse, they've now been held to 20 points or fewer in 3 straight games. As I mentioned last week, and I've got to mention it again, Arizona started the season out 3-0 against the spread in the first 3 games. Now, the next 3 games, they're 0-3 against the spread. And as I said, they were competitive in those first 3 games because the head coach was familiar with the opponent. Those appears to be the defensive coordinators, Philadelphia, obviously helped in preparation for those games. Now that you're playing division games and opponents that you're not familiar with, they're getting outclassed a little bit, and I think that's going to be the case here once again. One of my concerns, and this is a situation with Arizona, and it's going to be a problem. We don't have James Conner, with the injury situation and such. This is a team that in the last 2 weeks has thrown the football 32 and 41 times. Joshua Dobbs is not a quarterback built to throw the football that many times. Not only have they thrown the football 73 times in 2 games, they've only completed 36 of the passes. You're completing less than 50% in the NFL. That is not good at all. 367 yards in those 2 games. That is going to put too much pressure on, and then what ends up happening is you get turnovers. Because you saw the first 4 games of the season for Arizona, only 2 turnovers. In the last 2, 5 turnovers, and that's what happens when you're forcing the issues. You're coming from behind. You've got to try to make things happen. That's not what we want to see from the Arizona offense. Now, the good news is they're facing a Seattle defense that's probably the softest that they've faced in the last 3 weeks. So they should be able to get some points. On the flip side, Seattle's got a pretty explosive offense for the most part. Now, the last 2 weeks, they did score a lot of points, 24-13, but those were both on the road at the New York Giants and at Cincinnati. The 2 games prior to that, they scored 37 points in both games. What I'm looking at here is I do have Seattle winning again. We're looking at a spread of around 8 in this game. I have Seattle winning by 10. So, yes, technically, I'm saying I like Seattle inside here. But I'm going to give you my predicted margin. My final score, I have Seattle winning 34-24. If you do a quick take on adding those 2 together, that puts us well over the total of 44.5. I think Seattle's going to get right at home. Geno Smith is going to get some points, but I don't trust the Seattle defense enough that I think Arizona's going to get some points as well. I like this one going over 44.5. Take that one as our official play, and side lean Seattle points.
He's Marco D'Angelo. Follow him on Twitter at Marco in Vegas. The website, wagertalk.com. His picks today, USC 34-20 over Utah. And then tomorrow in Seattle, he likes the Seahawks to win 34-24. But the play, as he just said, is over 44.5. Marco, good stuff as always. Before we let you go, what kind of attention is the baseball playoffs getting up there? We here obviously are thrilled with the way things have been playing out, particularly since the Diamondbacks are back home. But there was a lot of talk around, the national media saying, the baseball playoffs are broken because none of the good teams advanced. Is that spilling over into attention there in Vegas, or is it still something that's getting a lot of play?
No, the baseball's still getting a lot of money being wagered on the games, and I can tell you that Vegas, in talking with the sportsbook directors around town, the one that I did yesterday at the Westgate in particular,
they said that they're big fans of Arizona in the playoffs because they are losers to any of the other three teams that would win the World Series. Arizona is the only team that they would come out, with a nice result for the house. And, we got to be concerned about that. They got
Absolutely.
neon lights to take for. And guys, I got to apologize. I forgot to give you that stat that I promised you.
Go back to it.
That stat was Arizona off of 2 straight losses by 10 points or more. And they've gone over the total with 13 games.
All right, wow. Got that. Marco, as always, good stuff. We appreciate you coming on with us and love that you share the knowledge with our listeners. Again, one more time, follow Marco on Twitter, @MarcoInVegas, and the website is wagertalk.com. Marco, good stuff. We'll talk to you again next Saturday.
All right, guys, let's catch some tickets.
Marco D'Angelo
Let's
from
cash
wagertalk.com.
some tickets.
Jack was telling me here that another thing that has impacted how the house is looking at this postseason is all the favorites. The Dodgers, the Braves, the Orioles, they're all gone, right? And that's where, when the playoffs started, the money started in on, right? And so now, teams like the Diamondbacks, everybody's like, oh, this is a terrible team. How'd they make the playoffs? They love it because all the money's already been bet on these teams. Dodgers ain't winning nothing this year, right? So good for, like Marco, got to pay for the bright lights up there in Las Vegas.
100%. I wonder what the odds were for the Diamondbacks to make the World Series or even the NLCS before the season started. Had to have been very high money for any lucky fan out there that had that.
They know that. We'll ask Casey when he joins us later on. Jack and I were talking beforehand. He alluded to, he didn't give me the exact number, but alluded to that it was a big number, and that they had some folks here locally that got in on the Diamondbacks early on in the season. Maybe not before the season started. Remember, they started out really well.
Didn't they lost 14 straight after the All-Star break?
Right. So people got in on it early as the Diamondbacks made some noise. So we'll ask Casey if he could share that number with us when he joins us in our final segment of the day. But thanks again to Marco D'Angelo. Always appreciate him. He's here every Saturday at 11:30 p.m. We're going to step aside here, take care of some things. On the other side, we'll check some updates. Looks like something's happening in Columbus between Penn State and Ohio State. We'll tell you about it. That's coming up next on Fox Sports 910.
I was wondering what all that screaming was in the background.
At CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona continues next on
I'll be right back.
910 and the free iHeartRadio app.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you so much.
We don't think there's any such thing as overcompensating. Win $1,000 in inflation compensation. Listen every hour, weekdays from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Sponsored by Lerner & Rowe Injury Attorneys.
Hey, Arizona, it's your local accident attorney, Kevin Rowe. Results matter, so we want to help you win $1,000. Powered by Lerner & Rowe Accident Attorneys, where we treat you like family. Interact, need a check? Call Lerner & Rowe today. 977-1900.
Time for a new smart TV? Rock and Manute with Jimmy B are giving away 5 65-inch smart TVs. Text BEATS to 59925. Text BEATS to 59925. Save your message and battery supply when BEATS, home of the 29-degree blue moon and Coors Light man-sized cracks.
It's Jason Payne, owner of State 48 Roofing and your sexy status roof guy on Instagram and Facebook. Lesser roofers cut corners, coupling together patchwork roofs to meet a budget, not State 48 Roofing. Give us a call today for your maintenance, repair, or full replacement needs.
Have you been arrested for something you didn't do? When your liberty is on the line, you need an aggressive, experienced attorney to defend your rights. Lerner & Rowe Law Group is the firm you can trust with your freedom. Our criminal defense attorneys have represented thousands of clients across the state. And with our affordable payment plans, you can get the defense you need immediately. If you've been wrongly charged with a crime, time is not on your side. Call Lerner & Rowe today for a free consultation. We're available to help you 24/7.
Lerner & Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
Looking for a change in your career? Openings now available in customer service, tow truck operators, yard management, facilities maintenance, and dispatch. Apply online at allcitytowing.com/careers or call 480-833-7278.
Hey, this is Kelly Cooper. Are you ready for the ultimate sports experience? Look no further than BKD's Backyard Joint. At BKD's, we're not just a sports bar. We're the destination for the best food, drinks, and sports experience in the valley. Located at the corner of Pecos and McQueen and Chandler, get ready to score big on fun and flavor. Only at BKD's Backyard Joint, where every day is game day. check us out online at bkdsbackyard.com. That's bkdsbackyard.com.
Escape the scorching heat and get indoors at Putting World's 18-hole putting experience. Stay cool while mastering the greens and having a blast with family and friends. Visit Putting World today.
See your Valley Chevy dealers today during Chevy's truck season. Every truck has a story. Make yours a strong one. It's Chevy truck season. See your Valley Chevy dealers today.
Come chill and get your fill at Arena Sports Grill. Arena Sports Grill is your home for Nebraska Cornhusker football and the National Football League. Watch all your favorite sports, plus off-track wagering with the ponies. Arena will be catered to the night owls with breakfast on the weekends till 2. NFL Mondays and Thursdays are packed with happy hour specials, daily till 7, and other incredible drink and
For college, I like Marshall, but if I had to go with a big team, I'm a bandwagon. I like Alabama.
Football fans, major tailgate.
And for NFL, I've only been to one NFL football game, and it was when I lived in Ohio. I went to a Bengals game, so I support the Bengals.
Familia, delicious Mexican-inspired recipes, and a chance to win a VIP tailgate experience for 4 plus 6
Absolutely not.
football game near you. Enter the Juanita's Tailgate Sweepstakes at tailgate.com.
Oh, I'm really hoping so.
In Tailgate con Sabor.
I just don't know anybody. Everybody watching really like hard. I really watched them in 2018, and there's nobody left. It's just Booker, and then from the final team, it's still just Booker.
That's why I got a cricket shot at this game designed for recent value.
Wow.
Learn more and get this week's updated COVID-19 shot at vaccines.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Here we go.
Back to Take the Points.
Oh, great song.
Powered by the Sportsbook at CAC Sports Bar in
I really like the song.
Arizona, exclusively on Fox.
And you're live.
Well, we'll let it play for a minute then, Ryan. Welcome back. Thanks again to Marco D'Angelo from WagerTalk.com. Always enjoy him. And he's got, should I give one more time? The 2 games he did for us. He's got USC 34, Utah 20. Interesting there. Bounce back game for the Trojans today in Los Angeles. And then tomorrow in Seattle, 34-24. He likes the Seahawks over the Cardinals, but his play on that one is over the 44.5 point total. He thinks both defenses are a little suspect, and he thinks points will be scored. So take the over in that one. Marco D'Angelo, you follow him on Twitter at Marco in Vegas, and his website is wagertalk.com. Coming up in about 25 minutes, we'll go down to Tucson and visit with Justin Spears, talk about the Arizona Wildcats, who are on a bye coming off that huge win last Saturday in Pullman, Washington. But Jackson, what happened in Columbus, Ohio? The Penn State players look pretty fired up.
Yeah, so the scoreboard right now sits 10-6, 3 Ohio State over Penn State gross, but we just played the song Starboy. Penn State is putting Ohio State in their worst mood right now. So Ohio State had the ball inside the 2-yard line, could not convert, goes down for it on 4th and goal. They went with a tight end, flat route to the right side. They got stuffed by Penn State. Ohio State holds Penn State 3 and out. What does Penn State do? They punt the ball. Gets touched by one of the Ohio State blockees. Penn State's got the ball back, and they're driving. They've got the ball on Ohio State's 30-yard line. End of the third quarter. It's about to be the fourth quarter. Ohio State's down 4, and they are the score there, Gross.
They punch it in is the question of the day, because another field goal, not going to do it.
No.
Plenty of time left in that one. We haven't talked much NFL, and Marco gave us his thoughts on the Cardinals tomorrow in Seattle. In case you're wondering, you saw that number that Marco gave us. The 44.5 is the point total. Seahawks favored by 8 in that one, Jackson, according to the sheet here at the Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona.
I mean, when I look at it, I mean, we have our picks later on the end of the show and stuff like that, but 8 points just seems like a lot, Gross. And I look at this injury report for the Seahawks right now. They've got some offensive linemen hurt. They have 2 offensive tackles that are on the IR right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, on the road, nothing to lose for the Arizona Cardinals, especially if Budda Baker can come back. It makes a big difference on the run defensive side of things, but Josh Dobbs needs to get better, improve. Manouche talked about it on Monday. He's pre-selecting his targets. That's what led to that interception there with Zach Ertz. If you can minimize mistakes and they can get the running game going, I think it's going to be closer than what people think.
I think so. I think people underestimate the impact a guy like Buddha has. You know, that emotional leader that, you know, he's the way he plays. You know, he's tiny in stature but huge in heart. I know that, you know, play-by-play guy on college football TV, but that's him, man. He is an impact player for this Cardinals team, and they've been missing that on defense.
The only thing, too, that I worry about the Arizona Cardinals, when you have a backup quarterback, your best friend is a great running game. The running game last week looked bad with Keontae Ingram.
James Conner so much.
Miss James Conner a ton, one of the best running backs in the league. Can they run against the Seahawks defense, which last year the Seahawks defense looked bad. This year they look better. It's more of the offensive performances that's been kind of struggling for the Seahawks. So I'm interested to see how this game is. It's going to be loud. Can Josh Dobbs, can he control this offense against the 12th man?
Are the Detroit Lions for real? They go to Baltimore tomorrow to play the Ravens, and a team that's a lot like them, right? Very physical defenses. You know, I think the Lions might be more dynamic offensively, but going to Baltimore, a tough spot for Dan Campbell and this Lions team. They're 3-point underdogs, and the point total sits at 42.5.
Confused by that. What are your thoughts there, Gross, when you look at Baltimore's 3-point favorites against the Lions, who have been one of the hottest, probably more balanced team in the league right now?
Yeah, no, I think there's two things going on right there. Number one, obviously the Ravens at home. You get something for that. And number two, there still are lingering questions about this Lions team, despite what they've shown so far this season. And I think that's it. I mean, look, we know how these numbers get set, right? You know, you want to attract enough money on each side to even it out, and that's what they had to do here. And like I said, it's that lingering doubt on the Detroit Lions as they go on the road. But, you know, you look at this team, 4-2, a Baltimore Ravens team, they're not great. And I know they got their questions about the quarterback situation figured out with the contract extension, but they're not a very dynamic offensive team. Just 133 points through their first 6 games.
Yeah, and then for the offensive side of the Lions, David Montgomery will be out, so Jahmyr Gibbs is getting his first start. But you look at who the leading wide receiver is, Zay Flowers, the rookie, 367 yards, 1 touchdown. And you got Mark Andrews. And then besides that, Nelson Aguilar, and then a guy that we've been disappointed about, only played 4 games this season, is OBJ, Odell Beckham Jr. Can they get him going in offense? A lot of question marks there for the Ravens. I don't know. I'm more favored. If you get +3 against a really well-coached team and Dan Campbell, I kind of favor the Lions on this one, Gross.
I wouldn't disagree with you on that one. The only question is going on the road to a very difficult place to play against a good defense. This is still a good Ravens defense. All right, I kind of stepped in it last week, right? And you and Bauer, you know, and I texted, my phone's blowing up when I said it. We made a comment about the Eagles and the 49ers, and I said, look, 49ers the best team in the NFC. There, I said it, right, or whatever. And it wasn't meant to be disrespectful to the Eagles necessarily, but both the Eagles and the Vikings both go out and lose last week after I make that proclamation.
You mean the Niners? The Niners and the Eagles.
That's what I said. Yeah, sorry.
No, you're good.
I'm getting all fired up because I got put on the spot. The Eagles and the 49ers both lose. The 49ers looked average against Cleveland, took some injuries as well. And then I don't know what, you know, you look at the Eagles losing the way they lost. I mean,
their offense just looks off right now. And they've got a lot of weapons. They didn't really run the ball as much against the Jets. I mean, they should have down the stretch when they had the lead there. But you got to give credit to Zach Wilson and them. First ever win in franchise history for the Jets to beat the Eagles. How about that, Gross?
That's crazy.
A big game against the Dolphins. Again, you've got the Dolphins +3 at home and the Eagles. Again, I kind of favor the +3, but more importantly, the 51.5 there. You kind of favor the over with a dynamic like the Dolphins, but the defense of the Eagles has been looking really well. Over under both of these. If I was putting my money on it, I would stay away because I think it could go either way. I don't know. What do you think, Gross? This game's kind of a tough game to pick.
I think particularly the 49ers game because you look at it, Christian McCaffrey not practicing, and he is not saying anything anybody doesn't know, but he's that dynamic component in that offense, and it really helps out Brock Purdy to have that weapon available. And so if he's not able to go, I think you're right. That really does skew that for me, and I'd stay away from it. And the Eagles, you know, if what I said about the 49ers and the Eagles last week is true, then the Dolphins have to be in the question. It's a tough spot for the Eagles to see if they can get that offense right. This Dolphins team, What's the best team?
I was just
in
about to
football
say.
right now.
I
What's
was
the
just
best
about
team?
to say. That's so funny. I was about to tell you that. I was about to say 6 weeks in, who's the best team in football right now? I have no idea. I think everyone's in question, but for the most disciplined, the Chiefs, they've looked pretty much balanced since that first win against the first win. Loss. Excuse me, against the Lions. They've looked pretty sound, but on both offensive and defensive side of the ball. What would you say? Because right now it seems like every team that we're high on, the next week they look bad.
I know, and that's what bothers me. I should say the Seahawks are the best team in the National Football League right now. Give the Arizona Cardinals a chance. I don't know. I can't go away from the 49ers. I think they got banged up by injuries. I think it was just an anomaly.
The rain.
But nipping on their heels are the Chiefs and the Eagles and the Dolphins. I mean, clearly there's a line somewhere in there, whether they're the best or second best, whatever. Our number one in the books, still to come. Our number two, we go to Tucson. Just on a Wildcats with us. We'll keep an eye on the scoreboard, plus make our picks. All that and more to come. Our number two coming up on Fox Sports 9 Cents.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, the scenic views stick around after the sun sets. Your favorite cocktails keep you company long after overtime. Where else can you unwind with bourbon and late night bites? Only at Twin Peaks, the sports bar.
Get ready for double the fun on the 101.
What's Justin Spears' number?
Brand at Casino Arizona and Talking Stick Resort, the Valley's newest and best. With multiple tiers and endless benefits, we've got something for everyone. Don't miss out on the excitement. Salt River Rewards, the Valley's premier player rewards program, now at Casino Arizona and Talking Stick Resort. 2 properties, 1 amazing club, offering limitless fun on the 101. Discover the best in the Valley at saltriverrewards.com.
Any car dealer in Arizona can compete on price. That's what dealers do, but not many dealers can compete on customer satisfaction. Like Wright Toyota. Make the right choice. Wright Toyota in Scottsdale, just off the 101 on Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard, and online at wrighttoyota.com.
Byron Brown, the anti-lawyer lawyer. Injury case, I'm straight to the point. I'll answer your call. No BS.
When you buy Kroger brand products, you feel like you're winning. That's because it offers proven quality at lower than most prices. In fact, we guarantee that you and your family will love how Kroger brand products taste. Once you get your money back. So next time you're shopping for the family, look for delicious Kroger brand products. Because they'll make you all feel like you're winning. Shop now, in store, or online. Pride, fresh for everyone.
The iHeartRadio app and the NFL right in your pocket. The home of the NFL Podcast Network, covering all 32 NFL teams, plus all the expert advice to win your fantasy league, and of course, live NFL games. Download the free iHeartRadio app today. Free never sounded so good.
Me too. He's a busy soccer guy who's trying hard to learn the game. Luckily, everything's so easy. Live banking with Chase. On a tip from his bankers, he set up AutoSweep in the Chase mobile. So what are you saving for, Bruce?
Father-daughter soccer camp.
Smart bankers, convenient tools. One bank with the power of both. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase. Think more of what's yours.
All these favorite voice Chase checking and savings accounts. Chase mobile app, Google, local select mobile questions. Message and data rate based on JP Morgan Chase Bank and member FDIC.
Portions of the following program will be recorded.
The Herd with Colin Cowherd, Monday from 10 to 1. This is KGME Phoenix, KESC HD2 Phoenix, an iHeart radio station.
What were you saying? Oh yeah, and you said, oh, and speaking of Starboy, I like that. That's great. Also, I found the KC Open, so no problem. And then I got the locks as well.
for all the games. Now,
Here we go.
it's on Fox Sports 910 and the iHeartRadio.
And you're live.
Hour number 2. Jackson Groff, Mike Gross coming to you today from the CAZ Sportsbook at Casino, Arizona. Loop 101 in McKellips. Come on out and see us. As covered a lot of territory in the first hour. And we'll do the same here. Coming up in about 15 minutes, Jackson, we go to Tucson, and you get to gloat a little bit. You've been on the Arizona Wildcats since day one. I was more of the mind they had to show us. They had to finally win a big game, and they did that last week. They're on a bye week, but Justin Spears, he's with the team day in and day out down there in Tucson, so we'll get his thoughts, get his opinion on where this team has come in the beginning part of the season and where they go after this bye week. They still have a tough slate of games looming as they attempt to get bowl eligible. We'll get into that a little bit later on, but as we do at the top of every hour, we check the games going on. It looks like Oklahoma just scored again as they're letting UCF hang around. What was that, 24-23, that one, did I say?
24-23, Oklahoma. Drake Stoops, name sounds familiar, the son of one Bob Stoops, just scored a touchdown. 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. We'll see how UCF can respond there. And for the Ohio State-Penn State game, low-scoring game, 10-6. Ohio State's got the ball in the red zone facing 3rd and 4 against Penn State. 9 minutes left in that one.
And one of the games that we wanted to talk about coming up later on, not necessarily a marquee game this week, of course, a big rivalry game, and always a little bit of drama around it. Jim Harbaugh and his team apparently under another NCAA investigation, which maybe we'll talk about because I really don't get it.
So dumb.
So dumb is right. And then Michigan State they're a mess. But you go all the way back to last year and how that game ended, the bad blood in the tunnel, guys get arrested, and charged criminally after that game. It was that bad. I get rivalry football, and you played and participated in a lot of rivalry games. There's a line that you shouldn't cross, and I think Michigan State crossed it a year ago, and it allowed this game with everything going on this week. Michigan State's coach gets fired. Just a lot going on the Spartans team. Meanwhile, if I'm Jim Harbaugh and the Wolverines, don't get distracted. NCAA, put it out of your mind, because even if there is something there, which I don't know if there is or isn't, it's not going to happen for a long time because the NCAA doesn't do anything quickly. Isn't that right, Arizona State?
Yeah.
So don't get distracted with everything that's going on around us. Just focus on winning games. This is a game they should win, and this is a game they should win by double digits.
The spread right now, 25 points, favored of Michigan. They'll be fighting for the Paul Bunyan Trophy. Again, like you mentioned last year with the fights, a couple years ago with the block punt for Michigan State. Some weird things usually happen in rivalry games, a big spread there. But you would think Michigan coming into this game, they're going to be fired up with all the allegations and outside noise, NCAA crap that's been going on around this organization. But regardless, I think one of the bright sides that Pete Thamel said this morning when it comes to NCAA investigations, we've known this, Gross, they take a while.
Yeah.
So I don't think this season is going to be affected, whatever happened with the investigation. And it just seems like the NCAA is going after Jim Harbaugh. And whether he knew it or not, stuff like this happens all the time. You wonder if stuff like this happened to Alabama, if the NCAA would say something. Or it's because, hey, we already have stuff going on with Michigan with the whole cheeseburger scandal. Let's just keep going at them with something like steal signing that's been happening, or sign stealing that's been happening forever. I saw an interview earlier this week with Brock Heward, who is the Seahawks color analyst there, and he also does some Big Ten games for Fox. And he talked about how when he was on the Seahawks, they had a guy on his team that was just the best sign stealer ever. Like he could do it in his sleep. He would do it during games. So if there's ways around it for teams. If you're concerned about someone stealing signs, either put a banner behind, because you know how the press box is, put a banner behind your signal callers, or go huddle. I just feel like, again, we talked about it before the program with Dan Orlovsky's tweet. People are so obsessed with tempo. If you have a problem with it, either change your signals up, which we did in college, or go huddle offense, slow the game.
The game, right? You've got 3 guys standing there giving signals. Like, how do you know which one is which, right?
And then the billboards, too, they have.
100%. If they went all Houston Astros and it was electronic, and then then you might have a problem. But if it's
video cameras, stuff like that.
If they're smarter than you are, change it up, right? So Yeah, interesting. Like you look at Rutgers, and supposedly Rutgers was one of the ones that was thinking, look at what did they steal?
Yeah, this team played 73 of 74 players, or 74 of 75 at Minnesota last week.
Yeah.
They're deep, they're talented. I don't think this affects them this season, but you do question Jim Harbaugh's future if he doesn't want to have to deal with this NCAA scandals and suspensions going on in his coaching career. You got to give him credit, though. I mean, he's had a young defensive coordinator. He got a great quarterback, great running game and offensive line, as well as a sound defense there. This team's for real. I just don't want it to affect this season. That's my biggest thing. If the NCAA has any respect for the Wolverines.
I couldn't agree with you more on that one. And, I know he doesn't want to mess with the NCAA, but in case he hasn't noticed, the NFL frowns on stealing signs as well.
At least there are no signals, though. At least they got that whole communication thing.
Oh, my
and it
goodness.
came out today that the NCAA is going to test that during bowl season with the quarterback and coach communication, just like the NFL does. I'm interested to see if that works. But,
yeah,
man, just a lot of, as Minucci would say, minutia going on around.
A lot of minutia going on. Another score that we talked about, Jackson, early on, and I was not 100% focused, and you kept me honest here. Number 22 Air Force. They are undefeated. They're 6-0, getting ready to play. Well, they are playing in the first leg of the Commander-in-Chief Trophy. They've extended their lead to 17-0 over Navy. That game being played in Maryland today. 17-0 Air Force over Navy. So they'll capture the first leg in the Commander-in-Chief Trophy. And then Air Force gets Army next, and that game is on November 4th. And then finally, Army and Navy play in the best rivalry game in all of sports in December. So
I love the uniforms of that game, too. I love how they go different uniforms for each. I think Nike's the sponsor for both.
Yeah.
Nike and Under Armour. Sorry, not Nike and Under Armour.
And I've told people this, and I told Rock way back in the day. When I was in Colorado, I used to work for the old Western Athletic Conference, which predates the Mountain West, right? And I would be assigned by the Western Athletic Conference to either go to Fort Collins, Colorado for Colorado State games or to Air Force for their games. And I love going to Air Force Academy football games. And if I love going to Air Force Academy for football games, if I got to work either the Army or the Navy game when they came to town, that was the absolute best. The flyovers, the pageantry, all the muckety mucks in uniforms that show up for these games. But the most important thing, Jackson, and we talk about this, the respect. Get between the white lines and you played the game. You try to beat each other's brains in while the game clock's running. But once that game's over, nothing but respect between those service academy institutions. They go stand at attention for each other's alma maters, and is nothing but respect once the game's over. And I love just what those rivalry games stand for. And Army-Navy is the cream of the crop.
Don't they do after the game? Don't they all meet up together and kind of do not a ceremony, but I think it's either "God Bless America" or some American song at the end.
They take turns. They play each
fight song.
They play their alma mater, not even the fight songs, where it's the more kind of the pomp and circumstance where they stand at attention. And first they go to the losing team, then they go to the winning team, and they both do it out of respect for each other. It's really remarkable, and like I said, I think it's one of the cool things in sport is those service academies when they play those games.
What was the spread on that game? Because Navy just scored a late touchdown with 50 seconds left. So those out there that have this game or have Navy or Air Force on the spread.
What's the score now?
So it's 17-6. You expect them to score a field goal here to be 17-7.
And the point spread was 10.5.
Wah, wah, wah. Bad beats.
Oh, man. Stanford Steve, line one. Stanford Steve. Line one on this one.
Apparently, Navy's going for 2 right now. So
34.5 is the total on that one.
Did they not get it? Oh, they didn't get it. They just went for 2 and did not get it. Gross. So the spread is at 11. Wow. Never mind. Bad beat if you had Navy. If you had Navy with the spread, bad beats. Why would you go for 2 there?
Why would you go for 2 there?
I don't understand. No, that makes
talk
no
about
sense.
Talk about NCAA investigations if they did go for 2.
Jeez.
Are you serious? What's the math that would make you go for 2 right
Okay,
there?
so 50 seconds left. They'd be down 9 instead of 10. Okay,
Yeah.
2 possession either way. No, I don't understand it.
I don't understand it either.
Oh, come on, Navy.
Air Force captures leg 1 of the Triple Crown, known as Commanders-in-Chief Trophy. That's cool. That's cool. All right, what else is going on? Oklahoma, UCF, what do we got?
So Oklahoma's up 1 right now, 7:30 left in the game. They've got the ball on their own 20-yard line. looking to get some points on the board. They're only up 1 with 7:30 left, so they got to hold on to the ball and kind of end this game for the Sooners.
This is a Big 12 game, yeah?
This is a Big 12. I know, right? UCF and Houston and Cincinnati. It's kind of weird to see them in the Big 12.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Another one that I don't know if I owe somebody an apology or we'll just call this game out. And you talked about it in the opening segment. I've been pretty critical of the Iowa Hawkeyes and their lack of offensive output. And there's a game going on in the Mid-American Conference, Western Michigan and Ohio. That was a 6-0 game at the half. Ohio was leading Western Michigan. That game's 19-10 now, late in the fourth quarter, as they are pulling away from the Broncos. But still, 16.5-point favorites were the Ohio Bobcats. And the point total in this one, people are wise to Iowa, right? We talked about the 31 or 32 and whatever it is. The point total in this one was 52.5. And they're sitting at 30 right now on this one. So not a lot of firepower going on in is it Oxford, Ohio? Where is Ohio University? Oxford,
That's a good
Ohio?
question.
I think it's
the only
Oxford,
person
Ohio.
who knows that would be Rock. But speaking of Rock,
Athens, Ohio. Excuse me.
Speaking of Ohio State just got the ball back up 7 on Penn State's 43-yard line with 7 minutes left. They just stopped Penn State on a 4th and 4. Penn State, gross, offensively has been struggling. The quarterback, Drew Allar, who's had a great season so far, biggest game of his career, 10-25, 118 yards. And, oh, yes, on the rushing side of it, I'm looking at this right now. Correct. It says negative 65 rushing yards, but that's also an effect of Drew Allar being sacked. Negative 65. Is that
They net
right?
them out. They net out the rushing yards in college football. So that is absolutely possible. How many? What's his rushing total?
Negative 89.
There you go. We have to look at the play-by-play because
wow.
Yeah,
I think that's one of the dumbest rules though in college is how sacks count as rushing yards because negative 65 rushing yards.
Yeah, they net out the rushing totals in college football. So if you have negative rushing,
no, I'm looking at it right now. So okay, this is bad radio. I apologize.
Yeah.
Singleton and Allen combined for 94 yards or 74 yards right now. I think it's more minus 12. I don't think it's minus 65. Maybe an error here on ESPN, which I'm looking at right now. But minus 65 seems a little
during
off.
the break, we'll jump over. We can look at the Penn State official site, and they'll have it, and they will keep us correct on that one. All right, we're going to take care of some business on the other side. Coming up next on Fox Sports 910.
All clear. Points, powered by the Sportsbook at CAT Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona, continues next on Fox Sports 910 and the free iHeartRadio app.
Monday on the drive, we'll be getting ready for an absolutely epic day to expect in Philadelphia. We're doing a good job of turning it into the Kyler Murray Show. 605 on the drive, Fox Sports 910, the free iHeartRadio app.
Hey, this is Kelly.
I've got a question whenever you guys get a chance.
Look no further than BKD's Backyard Joint. At BKD, we're the destination for the best food, drinks, and sports experience in the Valley. Located at the corner of Pecos and McQueen and Chandler, BKD's Backyard Joint, where every day.
Okay. He backs up his truck, ties one end of the dirt to the bumper and the other to himself.
Smart.
He's working on the backside of the roof until
What? Wait, no.
he has dog-like intel.
Ooh, what he hurt?
A few bruises and a stride.
Save yourself with State 48 Roofing, offering maintenance, repairs, and replacements. Of course, licensed, insured, and bonded. From residential to commercial. State48roofing.com.
Get ready for double the fun on the 101. Introducing the Salt River Rewards Program at Casino, Arizona and Talking Stick Resort. The Valley's newest and best. With multiple tiers and endless benefits, we've got something for everyone. Don't miss out on the excitement. Salt River Rewards, the Valley's premier player rewards program, now at Casino, Arizona and Talking Stick Resort. 2 properties, 1 amazing club, offering limitless fun on the 101. Discover the best in the Valley at saltriverrewards.com.
Hi, this is Dom.
Good question.
We started in 1998,
I'm allowed to play the U of A fight song, right?
free with 6 stores across
Like it's not copyright.
fun along the way, including our pizza challenge and our appearance on the show.
I can?
Thank you to our employees and
Okay.
for 25 fantastic years. We have never
That's true.
our ingredients or recipes, and every pizza is made by hand. I'm a proud 1998 ASU alum and the official
Okay, perfect.
ASU Athletics. Learn more about our story at Venezia's.
Sign up for the Rockin' Manute with Jimmy B. Appreciation Putting Tournament at Putting World Wednesday, October 25th at 5 p.m. The cost is $9.10. That's right, just $9.10. Sign up at rockinmanute.com. Space is limited. Rockinmanute.com.
Arizona's headquarters for Toyotas is Wright Toyota. Hey, rock for my friends at Wright Toyota in Scottsdale. You will always find the right deal at Wright Toyota. Wright Toyota has been driving Arizona's homes for years with their amazing service, pricing, and great selection. I encourage you to discover the difference at Wright Toyota. Make Wright Toyota, just off the 101 on Franklin Wright Boulevard, and always online at WrightToyota.com. The right price, the right selection. Check.
We've got Mr. Spears.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Why was iHeartRadio the #1 streaming radio app? Free music.
Free live radio stations from all over the free podcasts,
Free playlists.
free contests, free artist radio stations.
Commercial-free stations. It's free. I love iHeartRadio. Join the millions of music, radio, and podcast fans on the #1 streaming radio app now.
iHeartRadio.
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 Free never sounded so good.
And you guys are live.
This seems about right since Jackson has been on the Arizona Wildcats. Sit down. He's been on the Arizona Wildcats since forever. And they're on a bye week, so why not do a little homework and check in on the Wildcats and where they're at? And to help us do that, guy who joins us regularly, we appreciate him always coming on. It's Justin Spears from the Tucson Star as well as ESPN Radio in Tucson. Justin, Mike, and Jackson up in Phoenix, how are you today?
Good, man. How are you guys?
We're doing all right. And last week, before the Wildcats played Washington State, we referenced some comments that Wildcat great Teddy Bruschi made when he was in Tucson as part of the Arizona Bowl festivities, kickoff festivities. And he was asked about this Arizona Wildcats team and had a lot of nice things to say. But he kind of said, hey, you got to start finishing it. Close isn't going to do it anymore. Moral victories are out. Win some games. I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but his comments very timely because that's exactly what the Wildcats did last Saturday in Pullman.
They went on a stretch going up against 3 teams in a row, 2 of them on the road. And oh, by the way, you got to be the backup quarterback because you started. You got an ankle injury. But Noah Papito has shown that he is cool and poised and very capable of being QB1. And he's been playing so clean and efficient. It makes you wonder that I think this guy's going to be QB1 moving forward. And that's not to say that Jimmy Delora is a bad quarterback because there are a lot of teams in college football that would love to have Jimmy Delora as their coach. I just think this is kind of like a Drew Bledsoe, Tom Brady situation, right? While we just Lou Gehrig. You know, it's a really good guy, talented player got injured, and next thing you know, the replacement is just playing way too well. I don't understand how you could justify putting Noah back on the bench in a 2-time Pac-12 Freshman of the Week. So I fully expect Noah to be the starting quarterback, and it could be interesting to see the dynamic moving forward with Jimmy Delora as Arizona's backup. If that's the route that it goes. But he's keeping it very close to his chest. However, I think that Arizona's going to go with Noah Papito. But I'm kind of bearing the lead here, guys, because
I think that the biggest storyline, in my personal opinion, with the Arizona football team is their defense and the turnaround that they have made. And they were one of the worst rushing defenses in college football last year. They were eighth worst. And now they have a top, I believe, 35 rushing defense. They're the third best in the Pac-12. They're only giving them 96 yards per game on the ground. I mean, that's such a significant turnaround. And that just goes to show the level of, or the effort that Johnny Manson, Arizona's defensive coordinator, and his staff made in the transfer portal and in getting the right players in the offseason to complement the young players that played a lot of snaps last year and have bigger roles at sophomore. That's also another storyline that we've seen. I mean, you look across their roster, with Noah Papita, with Keshai Miller, with Jonas Coleman, their star running back, with Jonas Savage on the offensive line, with the guys that have on the defense, including cornerback and defense, Pride Sock and Sicario Davis. We got Arizona's first interception with Stephen at Washington State. I mean, that 2022 recruiting class is really shining and stepping up in Arizona. And then when you marry that with the transfer portal addition, it's been a nice blend. And Arizona's defense has made such a significant turnaround. And I think Johnny Manson and their defensive coordinators deserve a ton of credit.
Yeah, what a turnaround for the Arizona Wildcats, like you mentioned, too. In the same week where it came out where stud defensive end Elijah Rushing decommits from Arizona. They go on into the Palouse and beat Washington State there. Just kind of talk about, you're a guy that covers Tucson. What's been different this year about Jed Fish and this coaching staff that's completely turned around this Arizona Wildcats team? And might I mention, when we had you on before the season, we were both on. You told us too, and I agree with you. We proved Gross wrong. Over 3.5 wins, and right now they're looking to not even get over 3.5 wins. They've already got that, but even make a bowl game.
Yeah, not only they could make a bowl game, but they could play in a bowl game where their very own is the title sponsor of the bowl game in the LA Bowl. I don't know if you guys saw that, but Rob Gronkowski took it over the LA Bowl. I'm like, wouldn't that be interesting? Arizona going to the LA Bowl, playing at SoFi Stadium in front of Gronk. But yeah, I think this team is, when you look at their body of work so far, I mean, you guys have to remember this. This team has only lost their games by combined 16 points. One of them was a triple overtime game at USC. Another one was an overtime thriller against Mississippi State. And you wonder if Jaden Delora didn't throw so many interceptions, if Arizona didn't turn over the ball so many times, that they would have beaten Mississippi State. So that's one game right there that Arizona should have had. And who knows if Jet Fish went for the 2-point conversion in the first overtime, maybe they've beaten USC. The Washington game, I'll chalk it up to the Huskies. I mean, they had a really good control on that game. There was no Papita's first career start. It was just, I think Washington deserved to win that game in the end, but Arizona was hanging tough and they only lost by 7. So, I mean, it's really conceivable that this Arizona team could be 6-1 right now going to the bye week. They're feeling really good about themselves. They like the way this program is going. I think snapping that 2-game losing streak and doing it in that fashion by beating the snot out of Washington State by 38 points, I think has this Arizona team feeling very confident. But if things get very tough now, because not only, I mean, you got to play ranked opponents, but these opponents match up with you very well, like an Oregon State, like a UCLA, who's got a very tough defense. And then, of course, Utah, who's just always so tough, and Arizona has a tough time beating them year in and year out. So it's going to be a tough play to have for Arizona, but there are winnable games out there, like Colorado and like an ASU, and there are your 6 games right there. And then with the Oregon State and UCLA game at home, I think those are tough games, but I think those are games that Arizona can win, like they've shown us in the last few weeks.
Justin Spears with us talking Arizona Wildcats football. The Wildcats 4-3 overall, 2-2 in the conference as they're on their break. And, Jackson alluded to it with players decommitting. And that happens in college football all the time. It's a big decision for a young guy to make, where you're going to go play. But I think complicating the factor in this situation, a couple of the guys that play figuratively, but almost right across the street from the stadium there in Tucson. What's the feeling in town? I know people are idiots on social media, but what's the general feeling around town with that situation, with the 2 players decommitting, and really what it means because I think every other trajectory, this team is on the right path.
Yeah, it's honestly a little disappointing to see the reaction to both these commitments. I thought with Fiona Wilhite, maybe we just wanted to explore something else and maybe look to get out of Tucson and be out of Elijah Rush's shadow.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing that I've noticed about, whenever they talked about Fiona Wilhite, they always said, oh, Fiona Wilhite, he's also Elijah Rush's teammate. Elijah Rushing actually helped out Fiona Wilhite in his recruitment and brought a lot of eyes to Outpoint Catholic, and Fiona Wilhite has all the measurables that you want in a college edge rusher. But Washington came in, and Washington, they have current examples of what it's like to develop high-end defensive ends right now with Braylon Trice and Big Zion. So I think, Fiona Wilhite, looking at Washington, I think it's a good fit for him. I really do. And maybe he just wants to get out of Tucson. But with the whole Elijah Rushing thing, it's disappointing because there was so much hype, right? There was like, this kid is a 5-star, #1 rated defensive end, and he's staying to play home in Tucson, Arizona. I've heard from people really close to the Arizona football program, I can't say who, but, they were talking about how this is kind of like akin to Sean Elliott committing to Arizona basketball. This guy is all-world. Everyone in the country wants him, and he's deciding to stay home and develop the program. And that was a big message that Elijah Rushing portrayed. And then, a few months later, certain things happened, and Elijah Rushing decided to open up his recruitment. And I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I've heard a lot of different scenarios, but it's just so disappointing. And I feel bad for those guys because, they're trying to make the best decision that they think is, best for them. And you have grown adults on Twitter attacking you. I feel bad for those guys. And at the end of the day, those families will make the best decisions for them.
100% there. Last question for you, Justin. Appreciate the time as always. You looking on to next week, 12 Oregon State at home, 7:30 night game there in Tucson on ESPN. What does this Wildcat team need to get better on and improve, I guess, against the Oregon State team? And then if Wildcat fans out there are listening, everyone's got to be there. What's the environment going to be like there in Tucson on a Saturday night game, 12 Oregon State coming into town?
Oh, it's going to be very, very exciting because, coming off that big win, that's what's really going to help them get numbers at Arizona Stadium in their next game. Is their 38-point win. Now Tucson is like, okay, the team is really good. They're entertaining. They're a tough out. And no matter what, they're always going to be competitive in every single game. So it's worth going to watching the game. So many Arizona fans in years past are like, yeah, Arizona's going to get killed. It's not even worth going to it. Now they know that Arizona's going to be competitive in this ball game. So they're going to bring in a lot of numbers. And I think, this matchup against Oregon State, it's kind of similar to the matchup against Utah. They're just tough. They punch you in the face. They're so well coached. I think Jim Mahalchek, their offensive line coach, is the best in the business. And he's got a couple of All-Americans on his offensive line right there. And it's going to be a tough challenge for Arizona's D-line. They've been very effective all season long in allowing Jacob Manu and Dustin Slow and Daniel Hamuli and these other linebackers to make plays. But the defensive line is really going to have to step up in this game if they're going to want to beat Oregon State.
And by the way, basketball season right around the corner in Tucson.
Oh yeah, buddy.
that
exhibition game last night in Tucson, beating the brakes off of Lewis and Clark. A few guys were out, but as always, it was expected that they were going to win by 40 or 50 points.
Yeah, that gets their own entire segment when we'll have you on again in the future. He's Justin Spears. Hey, Justin, as always, man, great stuff. Appreciate your time. It's a bye week. You're good to make time for us, and let's do it again soon.
Absolutely, my friends. Anytime.
Justin Spears from Tucson, great analysis of where this Wildcats team is. And looks like you, Jackson, you're on your way to collecting on. I don't even know what we bet. I think we bet a breakfast sandwich.
I think you had to come in here and make a homemade breakfast sandwich. What our bet was, come in here, bring the the George Foreman grill. Bring the eggs, bring the ham, bring the sandwiches, and yes, I like my eggs over hard, gross.
Yeah, I'm sure security would have no issue with me bringing in
A George Foreman
Yeah,
grill.
when they checked my bag, I had to open up every compartment on my backpack today. Like they don't mess around.
Great
here.
security here at Casino Arizona.
Absolutely.
You know you're safe when you're here.
Absolutely, but you'll have to go someplace else for that homemade breakfast sandwich. We'll step aside here. Rick, more to come on Fox Sports 910.
All clear. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona continues next on Fox Sports 910 and the free iHeartRadio app.
Tune in Mondays from 1 to 4 as Rockin' Minuch with Jimmy D broadcasts live from the CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona. The Sportsbook at the CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona is sports fans' paradise. That's the guys live every Monday from CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona.
Jenny.
Hey, Jenny.
Jenny, come on in.
Steve.
Hey, Steve.
Steve, how you doing?
Meg.
Meg, nice to see you. Hey, Meg.
Arena Sports Grill. Come on out for the sports, off-track betting, incredible food, and friendly faces. The best daily specials in Scottsdale. Arena Sports Grill, 62nd Street in Bell. We know you.
See your Valley Chevy dealers today during Chevy's truck season. Every truck has a story. Make yours a strong one. It's Chevy truck season. See your Valley Chevy dealers today.
Hey, this is Kelly Cooper. Are you ready for the ultimate sports experience? Look no further than BKD's Backyard Joint. At BKD's, we're not just a sports bar. We're the destination for the best food, drinks, and sports experience in the Valley. Located at the corner of Pecos and McQueen and Chandler, get ready to score big on fun and flavor. Only at BKD's Backyard Joint, where every day is game day. Check us out online at bkdsbackyard.com. That's bkdsbackyard.com.
Sun Devil football returns to Mountain America Stadium to take on the Washington State Cougars Saturday, October 28th for ASU's homecoming.
Gadaboo with the catch, pass the first down, stays on his feet, and he's going to go.
Get your ASU Washington State tickets today by calling 480-727-0000
Touchdown Devils!
or go online to sundeviltickets.com.
The legend of Cameron Scadaboo continues to grow.
It's Jason Payne, owner of State 48 Roofing and your sexy status roof guy on Instagram and Facebook. Lesser roofers cut corners, coupling together Patchwork roofs to meet a budget, not State 48 Roofing. Give us a call today for your maintenance, repair, or full replacement.
Got the urge to pick games each week? Thursday, Sunday, even Mondays? Then sign up now for the Twin Peaks Fan Pickup, courtesy of Blue Moon and Coors Light. It's totally free to play. Head to fanpick'em.com. That's fanpick'em.com.
Get ready for double the fun on the 101. Introducing the Salt River Rewards Program at Casino Arizona and Talking Stick Resort, the Valley's newest and best. With multiple tiers and endless benefits, we've got something for everyone. Don't miss out on the excitement. Salt River Rewards, the Valley's premier player rewards program, now at Casino Arizona and Talking Stick Resort. 2 properties, 1 amazing club, offering limitless fun on the 101. Discover the best in the Valley at saltriverrewards.com.
When you buy Kroger brand products, you feel like you're winning. That's because they offer proven quality at lower than low prices. In fact, we guarantee that you and your family will love how Kroger brand products taste. Or you get your money back. So next time you're shopping for the family, look for delicious Kroger brand products. Because they'll make you all feel like you're winning. Shop now, in-store, or online. Fries, fresh for everyone.
Hey, kids, breakfast. I mean, if you're the Bears, you should take them.
Seems like you're feeling much better. It was the Mucinex Fast Max Kickstart Severe Cold and Flu I got you, huh?
Definitely.
That's true.
I think I did it the other day.
Go on your radio for a walk.
Yep.
Any more pancakes?
Dave's biggest smile for you.
Aw. New Mucinex Kickstart gets all in one and done relief with a morning jolt of instant.
They suck. Here we go.
Come back with a kick with new Mucinex Kickstart. Use as directed.
Back to Take the Points, powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona.
And you're live.
Tap.
Welcome back. We're out at the Casino Arizona. CAZ Sportsbook. We're watching the early games either go final or about to go final. Ohio State about ready to take care of Penn State, make it official. Looks like Oklahoma got the win. We'll cover all that. But first, Jackson, we got a putting contest coming up that fans can take advantage of.
Yeah, special event on Wednesday at Putting World. It's called the Listener Appreciation Putting Tournament at Putting World this Wednesday, 5 to 7 p.m. It's a 36-hole putting tournament during happy hour. Happy hour. You know what that means. Really good discounted drinks. It's only going to cost $9.10. Get it? Because Fox Sports 910 there, Gross.
910, baby.
Limited space. I believe there's only 10 spots left. So must sign up now on rockandmanuch.com, 5207. Myself, Jimmy B, Rock, and Manuch will all be there. And maybe Gross will stop by. Who knows? Maybe we can convince him to stop by there on Wednesday, 5 to 7 p.m. at Putting World.
Can't wait. Good event and a great special for our listeners. You want to take advantage of that. Go to rockandmanuch.com for all the details on that. All right, Jackson, we mentioned games going final, and it looks like they're under 4 minutes. No, that's a replay. It's 20-6 now. I don't know if that's gone final. Ohio State, Penn State. Is that final?
It is about to be final here shortly. Let me look up the score real quick. 20-6, Ohio State over Penn State. 2 minutes and 36 seconds left. That one looks to be wraps and over with Ohio State covering. I think it was -5 before the game even started. But the biggest thing here for Penn State, they just cannot get it going offensively. The rushing yards for them was not -65. Error there from ESPN. Rather, it was 71 yards rushing, but they could just not get the passing game going. Usually this is a team in Penn State that averaged around 200 yards rushing. And gross, the running game could not go. Passing game couldn't go either. That reads, and that obviously spells bad offense there for Penn State.
In 3 weeks, Penn State has Michigan in Happy Valley, but it's a it's at 11 a.m. kickoff.
It's called their stripe out. So it's not their white out, but their stripe out. So it was like the game Ohio State played last year at Penn State.
I'm sorry, but Penn State is infinitely more difficult to play after dark at Happy Valley.
100%. I agree.
And if you're Penn State, I mean, you still have a say-so in the Big Ten East, so de facto Big Ten championship, and then because of Ohio State and Michigan college football playoff, you still have a voice here. You still have a chance to affect things. But I like my chances a heck of a lot better if they move that to a 8 o'clock kickoff. Let people do what they do all day long and get ready to play Michigan at night. Day game at Happy Valley, not like some of these SEC places, just doesn't put the fear into me the way a night game.
Alabama, that's a 12:30, 3:30 time. The end of the game will start to turn into a night game, but last year when Tennessee beat Alabama, that started, I believe it was around 3:30, 4 o'clock here on the Pacific side of things. But that's another one last year. Tennessee came and won. Can they do it against Alabama? Alabama's favored by 8.5 points. This Tennessee team's been looking a little different this year. They've been more towards the running game than the passing game with Hooker last year and those dynamic wide receivers on the outside. Joe Milton's been kind of having a rough year, and so has Milroe. Milroe's starting to kick things into gear. But a weird game last week against Arkansas. They snuck one out at home. We'll see who can win that one. What do you like? What sticks out to you, Gross, when you look at Tennessee, Alabama?
I think it's fascinating. We've talked about this. Alabama is 6-1, undefeated in the SEC still. They're playing at home, and there's still a lot of people that love Tennessee in this game. And I get it. Unless you're an Alabama fan, you have a little bit of Alabama fatigue. It's still a good program, still a good coach. I know a lot of people want to retire the man, but I don't get it. I like Alabama at home. 8.5 was what I think it went off at. I'm fine with that. Tennessee's good. They've turned the corner, but I don't know that they're Alabama good yet.
I think their quarterback. Yeah, no, I agree. I think their quarterback too. When the lights are brightest, when they need them most, has not performed well. We saw Hendon Hooker do that last year. Joe Milton, a different cat. I would say the only thing for Tennessee that they have, Jalen Milroe and Joe Milton have big arms. I think they've got to utilize it in their defensive line right now. They're third in the country in sacks. They can get to Milroe, make him a little uncomfortable. They could maybe cover, but I agree with you. I think Alabama wins this one.
And, the SEC, the more things change, right? What's that old saying? Number 1 in the East, the Georgia Bulldogs, undefeated, 7-0. Overall, 4-0 in the conference. Alabama, again, that one loss, but they are 4-0 in the SEC. And, until somebody knocks them off that perch, that's what you're looking at again in the SEC championship.
What's interesting, though, about Georgia, Brock Bowers out
Injury.
4 to 6 weeks. I think that's a big loss for Georgia. But again, this is a team in Georgia that breeds tight ends, breeds players. So that freshman that maybe have been a star next year is going to have to step up this year.
Georgia, more so than virtually any other team in college football, is deep enough to absorb a loss. You're absolutely right. It's a critical loss, and you hate to see it if you're a fan of the game, but the Bulldogs can absorb that loss if anybody can. Again, number one on the East, Georgia. Number one on the West, Alabama. Call me when that's not the case in the SEC. Tennessee, you got a chance to do your thing right now, and we'll see if they can. Another team that we talk about in the SEC, and we still do, this Missouri Tiger team. They're on TV right now getting ready to play your guy, Spencer Rattler, in South Carolina. I read the South Carolina coach broke his foot. He was so mad after the game last week. I mean,
that's crazy.
Crazy. Do you ever have a coach,
on.
high school, college coach, just kind of lose it and physically injure themselves? He was so
Oh,
mad.
yeah. I've had college coaches that have lost it, but not to a point where they've broken something, maybe close to. But I just think it's dumb when you get to a point where I think he said he didn't see the Gatorade. I think he hit it against a Gatorade bottle or a Gatorade cooler or something like that. But no, just weird. I think Beamer is going to be in a walking boot down the sideline there today. So, but I was going to ask you too, Gross. We're in Arizona, obviously an Arizona sports radio program. We mentioned Arizona in the last hour. Got to mention Arizona State. Tough game on the road at 5 Washington. You talk about places that are tough to play at night.
Yeah.
Washington at 7:30, 27.5 point underdog there for ASU. What sticks out to you when you look at that one?
Well, ASU, we knew it was going to be tough for them this year, right? We knew new coach, totally or overhauling, revamping, whatever the word I want to use is, a team that was left in disrepair by the previous regime. Recruiting was ignored. Right? Let's call it what it was. And you don't rebuild a college football team in one recruiting class. I don't care about the transfer portal. You don't do it in one class. Look at Jetfish. We talked about it. They were 3 years into this before they start to have the success that they're having. A lot of flash, a lot of great articles about recruiting classes, but didn't turn into wins. So, it's going to be a slow rebuild for Arizona State. This is a tough place to go on a team that's going to be on a high after last week. And they are in the driver's seat now in the Pac-12, and they're not going to let that go. It's a big number, though, against Arizona State, and that one would concern me a little bit. But, the game itself, not in doubt. And you're right. If I had a bucket list of places that I wanted to go see games, there's a lot of SEC night venues that I would love to go see. I don't think I want to go to Happy Valley to see Penn State in November at night because I don't like cold weather. But I would love to go to a game in Seattle at night and somebody bring me to the stadium on a boat.
Ooh.
That's one of my bucket lists.
That's a lot to ask there.
Let's make it happen. How cool would that be? You played there. What a cool stadium is that?
It's a really cool stadium. When we played there, it wasn't as filled. It was the year when they were not very good. They were 20th in the country when Montana did come and beat them. Montana, we give a lot of credit in changing the Washington Huskies. But I mean, a great atmosphere. The lake, it's a great view. You can see the lake even from down on the field. But yeah, no, great atmosphere, especially tonight. They're premiering their new purple chrome helmets there for Washington.
That's the other thing, man. Where have college uniforms gone? Like, so cool. And speaking of which, before we take a break, because somebody's back from Boston, went on vacation, didn't even tell us last week. You see Michigan State is wearing black, and somebody put out on Michigan State debuts black uniforms for their game today against Michigan. We're going to step aside here, and hey, guess who's back? Casey's back
from Boston.
He'll join us. We'll make our picks. That's coming up next on Fox Sports 910.
Take the Blitz, powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona, continues next on Fox Sports 910 and the free iHeartRadio app. This is The Odd Couple with Chris Broussard and Rob Parker.
Zach Wilson has just become a serviceable game manager.
Right. Don't get in the way. Don't make a mistake. He's not really a part of it. I can't say he's not a part of it, but you know what I mean.
They're just trying to make sure he doesn't lose again.
Right.
With Chris Broussard and Rob Parker. Monday at 4 on your smart speaker. Say play Fox Sports 910.
When you use your electric vehicle in autopilot or self-driving mode, accidents can still happen. Whether you're considered at fault or not, you may still have a claim. Lerner & Rowe has a dedicated team skilled in this new science. We are the first law firm in America with the ability to review the proprietary software and hold electric vehicle manufacturers responsible. If you or a loved one were injured in an electric vehicle accident, call Lerner & Rowe today. Lerner & Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-190.
Hey, this is Kelly Cooper. Are you ready for the ultimate sports experience? Look no further than BKD's Backyard Joint. BKD's, we're not just a sports bar. We're the destination for the best food, drinks, and sports experience in the Valley. Located at the corner of Pecos and McQueen and Chandler, get ready to score big on fun and flavor. Only at BKD's Backyard Joint, where every day is game day. Check us out online at bkdsbackyard.com. That's bkdsbackyard.com.
Tune in Mondays from 1 to 4 as Rockin' Manooch with Jimmy B broadcasts live from the CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona. The Sportsbook at the CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona is sports fans' paradise. That's the Guys, live every Monday from CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona.
See your Valley Chevy dealers today during Chevy's truck season. Every truck has a story. Make yours a strong one. It's Chevy truck season. See your Valley Chevy dealers today.
Hey, sports fans, celebrate every big game with El Bandito Yankee, an ultra-premium tequila made from 100% Blue Weber agave in the highlands of Jalisco. Their certified additive-free Blanco and Reposado features a unique oxygenation process for a rich smoothness without that tequila burn. It's why they won platinum and gold medals and are now listed as one of the world's top tequilas by Rolling Stone. Head over to your local store, favorite bar, or restaurant in all 7 Barrio Queen locations. Go to elbanditoyankee.com and break out the Bandito with the official tequila of game day.
Arizona's largest locally owned A-plus BBB rated towing company is All City Towing. They're always looking to add motivated and competitive team members. Do you fit the bill? If so, head on over to allcitytowing.com/careers for more information.
How's the golf game? Need help with that putter? Win free golf membership or putter fitting from Putting World in Scottsdale. Just text PUTT to 59925. That's PUTT to 59925. Standard message and data rates apply. That's PUTT to 59925.
Need a new big screen for the football season? Twin Peaks, Blue Moon, and Coors Light has your chance right now. Text PEAKS to 59925. Standard message and data rates apply. That's PEAKS to 59925.
Get ready for double the fun on the 101. Introducing the Salt River Rewards Program at Casino, Arizona.
Yeah, I got the open.
Resort, the Valley's newest and best. With multiple tiers and
Yep, I got both.
something for everyone. Don't miss out on the excitement. Salt River Rewards, the Valley's premier player rewards program. Now at Casino, Arizona and Talking Stick Resort. 2 properties, 1 amazing club, offering limitless fun on the 101. Discover the best in the Valley at saltriverrewards.com.
I'm Byron Brown, the anti-lawyer lawyer. When it comes to your personal injury case, I'm straight to the point. I'll answer your call, no BS.
Byron Brown, the anti-lawyer lawyer. Call 1-800-ANTI-LAWYER.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart, and I have a question for you. You know that unwelcome guest everyone wishes would just leave already? That's COVID-19. That's why I got a COVID shot this season, designed for recent variants. Got it?
Learn more and schedule this season's updated COVID-19 shot at vaccines.gov.
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Time for the best bets, locks, and daily wager picks, courtesy of the CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona. Now joining the guys is CAZ Sportsbook expert Casey Walsh.
From Boston.
Exclusively on Fox Sports 910.
And you're live.
Somebody's back from vacation.
From Boston.
Yeah, we get here and Jack's like, oh, by the way, Casey's gone. Didn't tell us. You didn't put in. Protocol on the show is you put in for vacation. You let the guys know you're not going to be here. That way we can make accommodations. But you didn't do that. But nonetheless, welcome back.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I apologize. I was 50-50 if I wanted to go back. Made the final decision Wednesday.
Well, don't hesitate to reach out before you make these important decisions.
How was Boston, Casey? What are the vibes over there in Boston? It was good. It was fun. I had a good vacation. Everybody's crucifying Belichick and the Mac Jones radio was brutal to them guys. Yeah. So what do you think they're going to do over there with the Patriots? they're playing. Do they play this week? I think they're on. No, they play. Oh,
they
you're
play
up.
the Bills.
They play at home against the Bills. What's the quarterback situation going to be like there for the Patriots? And they're -7.5 is the favorites of the Bills. Do you like your Patriots to cover, Casey?
No. No, I think the Patriots are going to be about 1-7. They're going to get beat by the Dolphins and the Bills in the next 2 weeks.
Hey, Casey, big story here locally, of course, is the Arizona Diamondbacks. Rewind to the start of the playoffs, though. What was the fan reaction, the betting public reaction you guys pay attention to? A lot of people on the Diamondbacks, but big picture-wise, and I heard this at the national level, a lot of money on the Dodgers, a lot of money on the Braves. So sports books, they made their profit already on the postseason with those two big names going out. And now you've got teams like the Diamondbacks, the Phillies, wild card teams advancing.
Yeah, definitely profited on the futures. Obviously, the teams that you just included, as well as the Yankees, were a big future, didn't make the playoffs. We actually were seeing a lot of money on the Dodgers in their second series. And it kind of continued with game 1 and 2 against the Phillies. We actually had a lot of people taking the Phillies. And then the last 2 games, it's been all Diamondbacks. And tonight, they're all back on the Diamondbacks again.
Really? Wow. Diamondbacks are the underdog tonight. Plus 114 on the money line. Are people more going money line, or are they going the spread there plus 1.5 as well?
They're all going money line. They're all taking the plus. I think we have it at 115 right now. So they're all taking that right now.
Interesting.
Very interesting. And then real quickly, before we get to this week's picks, we got to ask, Cardinals first couple weeks look good against the spread, not necessarily translating into wins and losses, although they did beat the Cowboys. Beyond that, what's the betting public's feeling about the Arizona Cardinals?
Well, this week we've actually taken quite a bit of money on the Cardinals, getting the 8.5. We actually had somebody come in and bet 5 figures on the Cardinals money line this week at plus 310. So that'll be a little bit of a sweat.
Wow.
And we just saw Charles Barkley was in here too.
Yeah,
he just walked out.
Yeah, he bet quite a bit of college football games today.
He never comes by and
he said hi last time. He said, "What's up, white boy?" I was like, "Hey, what's up, man?"
He didn't even stop by today. All right, Jackson, we ready to do this?
Oh yeah, first game, KC. We're going 14 Utah at 18 USC. USC is favored by 7. The over/under sits at 52. What do you like?
I'm going to go with USC in this game. I just feel that everybody's going to go off of the Notre Dame game last week when they looked bad. USC, they still somewhat have a chance at a championship run, even though it's a lot slimmer. I think they'll be ready to play, and you never know with the Utah quarterback situation right now.
I'm going to go under here. I don't really feel too confident in either side on the spread. I do think it's kind of a lot for USC, but I think Utah's defense is going to hold them to under. I don't know if they can score offensively, but I think they're going to score. USC is going to score under 25, 30 points.
I like USC -7. You talked about Jackson, the Utah quarterback situation. Marco kind of talked me off a ledge a little bit in terms of what was the impact on this Trojans team with that loss last week. They still have an opportunity to affect things in the Pac-12, and I wouldn't say they're totally done in the national championship picture, though they need some help. So I'm okay, USC -7. And Bauer took the over 52 in that one.
ASU at Washington. Washington a heavy favorite, -27.5. Over-unders at 60.5. What do you like, Casey?
I'm going to go over in this game.
Over. I'm going to go Washington with the points. I think they're hot right now. I know it's a lot of points there, but it's going to be loud. Night game in Seattle. Again, the purple chrome helmets is going to set them over the edge, Gross.
Wow. You know what? I went under on that one. I don't think Arizona State can score. Geez. Now you both got me thinking. No, I'm gonna keep it. I'm going under. I'm going to contrary pick.
Okay.
Make it the under. Bauer agrees with Casey, though. He's going over.
Arizona Cardinals at the Seahawks. Seahawks -8. Over/under sits at 44.5. I think it's a lot of points. I'm going to go Cardinals +8.5. +8. I think it's 8.5. What are the sports books looking at that one?
We have it at 8 right now, -115.
-115. What do you like in this one, Casey?
I'm going to go under in this one.
Under for Mr. Casey. Gross?
I'm going over. Marco told us, and Marco had good reason. Cardinals defense really struggling, a lot of injuries. Seahawks defense a little suspect as well. Put it all together, that's 44.5. That's I think a number they can hit. So make mine the over.
All right, let's get into our locks. Play the open real quick, Ryan.
It's time for Take the Points to give you their locks for the weekend. Live from the CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona. Okay, gambling degenerates, what are your locks? By the way, you better be gambling responsibly.
Bowers going Lions, money line. I'm going to take Michigan minus 25. I think they win big at Michigan State. Casey?
I'm going to throw you guys for a curveball this week. I got to give you guys a winner. I'm going to do actually a 2-team teaser. I'm going to do the Bills down to 1.5 and the Seahawks down to 2.
Listen to this guy. Ryan, what do you got?
I got Lions +3.
Oh, Lions. He looked on my paper. I got the Lions +3 as well. That's going to do it for us today. Great job, Ryan, back in the studio. Thanks to our guests, Marco D'Angelo and Justin
15.
Spears. Don't forget, Monday night tailgate here at the casino, 4 o'clock, doors open. Come on out, see Rock and New, Jimmy B. We'll be back next Saturday at 11 a.m.